I am a firm believer that in order to build and maintain a wardrobe that we love, we first need some healthy habits to act as a strong foundation. So if you're looking for some healthy habits that you can implement into your everyday life that are gonna help change your style for the better, this video is exactly what you need. If you wanna see more content on how to mindfully build a wardrobe that you love, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get right into it. The first habit I want to talk about is interviewing clothes before you buy. Every single time I'm considering adding a new piece to my wardrobe, I essentially interview the item. It has to prove that it is worth the spot within my closet. My first step is examining the material. So is it natural materials? Is it synthetics? Is it semi-synthetics? These are all things that are really important to me because I try to avoid synthetic materials as much as possible. If you want more information as to why, feel free to watch this video. I will link above here. It has a ton of information about different synthetic fabrics and why you should generally avoid them. And if it passes the test of being an item that has a material that I like, then I examine the construction of the item. So I'm looking for things like loose threads. I'm looking for uneven stitching, potential pilling if it's something that I'm buying used, or just any signs of poor quality that could shorten its lifespan within my closet. Now, most of the time I'm shopping in person in secondhand stores, so you obviously can't do this next step if you're shopping online, but I will head to the fitting room and try it on, of course. Obviously, if you're ordering something online, you will do this at home and decide if you want to keep or return it. But when I'm in the fitting room, if it's not an immediate yes, it's a no. Like if there's any ounce of hesitation, I can't have that coming into my wardrobe, because if I'm hesitating in the fitting room, I'm going to hesitate when getting dressed. This has taken a lot of work over the years to kind of train my brain to understand that it is perfectly okay to walk away from something, even if it's otherwise perfect, but the fit is off. Like, it's just not worth it, in my opinion. I am no longer in the business of just trying to make things work. Things need to be perfect. And those are the standards I'm setting for myself, and that is perfectly okay. And then I do one more thing before I actually buy it. I make sure that I can style at least 5 different outfits with the item. This is where having a digitized wardrobe really comes into play, especially if you're shopping in person. You could just pull it up, say, all right, it would look good with this, with this, with this. And I just brainstorm a couple of different outfits that would work really well with it. If I'm hesitating or if I'm struggling with trying to put together outfits that I think would work well, that's a sign that it's not gonna play nice with the other items that I have in my wardrobe, and that is really important. So this type of interview process when it comes to clothes, it will help you avoid impulse buying, and it's also going to leave room for pieces that you're actually going to wear consistently. Don't be afraid to pause and assess every single detail of the item that you're purchasing, because in the long run, it's just going to make your wardrobe that more functional. The next habit is to take photos of your outfits. So a few years ago, I was taking pictures of my outfits solely for social media, right? Like I wanted to show off my outfit, I would take a picture, post it on social media, but now I use them strictly for personal use. So when I get dressed in the morning and I put on an outfit that I really like or I'm really proud of, I take a picture of it. So it's not every single outfit that I wear, but it's the ones that make me feel the best or that I'm really proud of. And what I really love about this is it helps you build a visual record of what's actually working in your closet. And you can reference these photos whenever you need a little bit of inspiration, or maybe you want to build upon a look. Like there's so many things that you can do just by having this visual record on hand. I have found that having photos on hand has made a really big difference because I'm actually able to see what works. It's almost like creating your own personal style guide, right? Like it has all these combinations and all these different looks that make you feel good. So if you're not already doing this, I highly recommend it. It takes 2 seconds when you get dressed. Snap a photo in the mirror, set it up on the windowsill, put a self-timer on, take the picture, because it's such a great way to validate what's actually working and what's not. And the other thing I love is that it acts as evidence of your style evolution. So you can look back over the years and see how you've changed, see how you've morphed, and ultimately be proud of that process. The next habit is staying off of social media. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok always pulled me into this really uncomfortable cycle of comparison, which always made me wanting more within my closet, never being satisfied, and ultimately buying things that I didn't need. So about 3 years ago, I deactivated my Instagram and my TikTok. Obviously, I'm still here on YouTube. I love YouTube. I think it just has a different vibe than those other platforms. And I'm also on Reddit. So I haven't really looked back on Instagram and TikTok. And the level of social comparison that I had when on those platforms has definitely decreased a ton. And with that, I think my style has also evolved in a way that is more personal and just better fitting for me. Especially because I've been working on building my wardrobe with something that's more genuine to me, not necessarily being overly influenced by anyone else on my feed. But this is not me suggesting that you need to delete your social media altogether. I know that some people need it for work. I know some people just don't want to do that. But what I advise you to do is to unfollow any accounts that might be giving you a little sense of social comparison that you don't want. Maybe some accounts that are pushing you to buy more often than you want. It is perfectly okay to do a social media clean out and to just curate your feed to be something a little bit more intentional. I made a video a couple weeks ago about how social media is sabotaging our personal style. I will link that above here if you would like to watch it. But at the end of the day, reducing my social media usage has kind of just helped my style evolve without all of this constant noise and pressure. The next habit is to keep outfit formulas in the back of your pocket. This has been especially helpful whenever I feel an ounce of overwhelm or stress when I'm getting dressed in the morning, which is very normal, happens to all of us. I like to rely on a few signature outfit combinations that work really well for me. So if I'm in a rush, or maybe my brain just isn't functioning, or maybe I'm not feeling inspired, then I will lean on those to act as a strong foundation for me to build a nice outfit for the day. Even if I'm not in a rush though, sometimes I just need a good jumping off point. So I'll look to them to kind of act as a base, as a foundation, I guess you could say, for where I should start my outfit. Having outfit formulas on hand is like having a little shortcut to feeling put together without having to put in this extra mental energy if we don't have it. If you're either an outfit formula lover or maybe you just need some help creating some go-to signature looks, feel free to check out my 100 Outfit Formula digital guidebook in the description box down below. So make sure you check that out if you think it would be helpful for you. The next habit is calculating cost per wear. I think it's really important to use cost per wear not as a way to justify a purchase, but as a way to make sure that the item is going to get enough use to make the actual investment worthwhile. It's obviously impossible to estimate exactly how many times you're going to wear an item, but if you know your wardrobe well enough, then it's a really great tool to have on deck to estimate what the actual cost per wear of an item will be after a year, 2 years, or a couple of years of wearing it. So for me, I like to look at the first year of wear and then I will calculate more if I feel like it's appropriate. But looking at just the first year allows me to see where it's actually going to perform when it comes to the seasons. So I generally lean towards items that are able to be worn for more than one season, because then they're gonna have a lower cost per wear within the first year of me wearing it and forever. But when it does come to seasonal items, which are obviously very needed at times, like a winter coat, for example, I make sure that it is something I am absolutely going to wear for years to come, so that cost per wear can lessen more and more over time. So when it comes to the winter coat example, I think I paid around $250 for my winter coat. I've had this bad boy for like 6 years. Okay, so the cost per wear is very, very low at this point, and I'm feeling really good about it. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It is my favorite winter coat, and I'm really happy about it. So that $250 for me, you know, at the time I was in college, so it was probably a little rough for me, but now I look at it and I'm like, wow, I really got the cost per wear down low, and I still love the coat. It's performed so well over the past few years, so I'm happy I bought it. I also look at cost per wear almost like a personal challenge to get the most use out of an item, and also to make sure that every single purchase I'm making is as intentional as possible. But just remember that it is best to use cost per wear as a tool to help guide healthy spending habits, not as a reason to stretch beyond what's realistic for your budget. The next habit is washing and drying your clothes less. It has taken a long time for me to notice this difference, but I have noticed a huge difference in the longevity of my clothes from 10 years ago to now. Now, obviously, there are other factors to consider, like I'm definitely buying more higher quality clothes now than I did 10 years ago. I have a better process when it comes to buying clothes that helps extend the longevity of an item. However, I do think that washing and drying my clothes less has been an absolute game changer. I've noticed that in the past when I wash and dry items way more frequently than they should be, they start to pill, they start to fade, maybe they even shrink or the silhouette kind of gets funky. So now unless something is visibly dirty or visibly smelly, that's not right. Just smelly, I will try to get a few wears out of it before throwing it into the wash. And when it actually is time to wash, I have been actively working the past few years on trying to avoid the dryer. And I know it's hard because it's so convenient, right? Like you just throw it in, it gets dry, you put it away. Whereas with a clothing rack, you gotta wait. So it definitely depends on the item, of course, but I generally try to avoid it as much as I can. And I know this might seem a little bit tedious, but I have found that exposing my clothes less to heat helps maximize their longevity in the long run. Also, if you are washing and drying less, you are reducing water, you're reducing energy consumption, and you're also reducing the potential for microplastics from synthetic materials to get into our water. The next step is to stop shopping as entertainment. If you're somebody who hops on a retailer's website the second you feel bored, I'm sure you recognize how this can lead to really unhealthy spending habits and also impulse buying. But the reason why we do this is because it gives us a quick dopamine hit. It feels good. But this pattern can quickly turn into this really vicious cycle of buying an item that you don't need, regretting the item, not using the item, feeling bored again, and then going on the ride all over. So whenever I feel bored and I find myself wanting to go shopping, or maybe if I even see an ad online and I'm like, ooh, I need to check out this retailer, I take an active step back, take a breath, relax, and replace that need to shop with something else. So for me, it's reading. I'll always pick up my book. I'll read for a few minutes. And generally by the time I'm done reading, that feeling of, oh my God, I gotta go shopping is gone. You could take a walk. You could start a new show on Netflix. You could do whatever you want. You could clean out your closet. You could vacuum, whatever works for you. Or sometimes I honestly just sit in the boredom. I feel like we are not bored enough nowadays. And it's really important to allow ourselves to be bored in order to calm our brains and get used to the fact that we don't have to be doing something all of the time. And the last habit is give yourself enough time to get dressed or plan your outfits. First things first, I am aware that time is a luxury not all of us have. However, if it is available to you, I highly recommend taking a few extra minutes in the morning to put together an outfit that really makes you feel great, or plan your outfits for the week ahead on Sunday, or obviously whenever it's most convenient for you. I find that giving myself extra time is the ultimate form of self-care, because when I feel rushed or when my outfit isn't going as planned and I don't have enough time to fix it, I don't feel good. It just doesn't make me feel good about myself. It doesn't allow me to walk out into the world that day feeling confident. And that's something that I like to avoid. So by giving myself a few extra minutes, by waking up 10-15 minutes earlier, or by planning my outfits the week ahead, depending on what I'm doing, I avoid that stress of throwing something together that doesn't feel good. And honestly, I just feel like my day is more grounded and it's kind of set up for success if I set myself up for success in the morning. This habit is one of the best ways to just invest in yourself, give a little bit more time to yourself, and it's not only going to have a big impact on the outfits you actually put together, but it's also really going to impact how you feel in them. All right, you guys, those are all the easy habits I have for you today. Leave a comment down below. What is one habit that you've implemented in your life that has changed everything for you? It doesn't necessarily have to be about style. I would love to hear about any single thing that you have that has changed you and made your life better. Thank you as always for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.